What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our top landing spots for free agent cornerback James Bradberry. All that and much more coming your way right now. All right, before we get into today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video as it will help us out tremendously. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video. All right, Nick, earlier on Monday, we learned that James Bradberry had been officially released from the New York Giants. This was a move that we had heard about for a few weeks now. Definitely something that I saw coming down the pike. And I think that James Bradberry, he didn't live up to the Carolina-esque standards that we had for him while he was in New York. I think that had a lot to do with his surrounding cast. It definitely wasn't the defense with the Panthers that he was accustomed to. But I still think he's still a Pro Bowl level type of corner. I think he has that ability in him. He needs to go to the right fit, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about the top 5 landing spots that I have, and I just want to get your opinions on each of those 5. So I'm going to start off with the one team that's rumored for every free agent, no matter what they do. The New England Patriots are always in on free agents, looking at them as soon as they get released. What are your thoughts on James Bradberry joining this defensive backfield?
It's a backfield that desperately needs to have a cornerback one, and Bradberry was just that for the Giants and Carolina Panthers. This guy has been a solid corner for the last few years, and he's only being released because of a cap casualty. This guy has shown that he can produce, and I think you put him in Bill Belichick's system, he has the resume that shows that he can turn a guy like James Bradberry into a top 5 cornerback in the NFL like he did with Stephon Gilmore and J.C. Jackson. So I think Bradberry could be very interested in New England as a destination.
I like New England a lot. I think he makes a ton of sense. You mentioned working with Bill. Bill obviously has the wherewithal to turn any cornerback into anything. JC was undrafted. Stephon had the base in Buffalo, but he went to a completely different level as soon as he went under the tutelage of Bill Belichick. I really like the New England landing spot, but I think that there's other teams that have more of a need for James Bradberry right now, and one of those teams is the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, they still have Darius Slay, but I believe that James Bradberry could help them, and what better than James Bradberry going to a division rival of the New York Giants?
The Philadelphia Eagles are a team on the rise, and adding a guy like James Bradberry would be a huge boost to this defense. Him alongside Darius Slay would be incredible, and when you look at the wide receivers in this division, they're not that great, and having 2 stellar cornerbacks would really take care of every single one of them that they come across. To me, the Eagles are on the rise and are a sneaky team to be great this year, and I think adding Bradberry could just put them over the top.
I like the Philadelphia Eagles fit, but another team that could really use cornerback services, one that is desperately needed, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders have done an incredible job this offseason of rebuilding this team under Josh McDaniels and making it look like one of the best teams in the NFL on paper. They desperately need to improve the secondary. They did that by trading Yannick Ngakoue for Rock Ya-Sin. That was a great addition, but they can make an even bigger jump by adding James Bradberry. That would really help lock down the secondary. When you already have Max Crosby and Chandler Jones rushing that edge, I think that would be a terrifying defense to go up against.
I would really like to see Las Vegas continue to add pieces. I think that they're in a position where they can absolutely compete this year. With the addition of Davante Adams to this offense, they are going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. Adding a guy like James Bradberry will only solidify their defensive prowess as well. Another team that should be looking at James Bradberry, in my opinion, Nick, what are your thoughts on the Minnesota Vikings?
The Minnesota Vikings are a team that has struggled in their secondary the last few years, but it seems like they're making improvements. Patrick Peterson, as poor as he was playing in Arizona, seemed to make a step up last year in his first year with Minnesota. With him returning, them adding Andrew Booth in the second round of this year's draft, I think adding James Bradberry would go a long way to help this team that has already added Zadarius Smith to that edge rush with Danielle Hunter. Again, a very nasty defense that would be tough for Green Bay to go up against. I think that would make the Vikings an intriguing team to take over that division.
You talked about Patrick Peterson, and obviously they drafted Andrew Booth Jr. out of Clemson. I like that pick. I think he needs to kind of settle in a little bit before you're thrusting him into the number 2 cornerback position, and possibly even the number 1 if Patrick Peterson can't really figure it out after last season. So I think that there's definitely a little more concern for the Vikings to add a veteran presence on the back end of this defense for sure. I think Bradberry fits that mold very well. The final team I want to talk about here is one that you just referred to, Nick, and that being the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are in desperate need of another veteran cornerback. Last year they tried it with Malcolm Butler. He ended up retiring before the start of the NFL season. Could James Bradberry be the missing link for this team to get over the hump and get to the Super Bowl?
He definitely could be. Byron Murphy was solid last year, but he simply couldn't do it by himself. He needed another running mate, and adding James Bradberry would do just that. I think this secondary has a lot of potential. There are a lot of young guys right now, and Bradberry is still a young guy, but adds a little bit of that veteran presence that is necessary that they were looking for in Malcolm Butler. So I think that's exactly what would be the missing piece for this Cardinals defense as they try to retool after losing Chandler Jones. Why not bolster the secondary to help out that pass rush?
I agree 100%. I think that the Arizona Cardinals definitely have a chance to compete here, as well as some of the other teams that we mentioned. Adding a guy like James Bradberry would definitely go a long way in helping that come to fruition. But I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of James Bradberry being released from the New York Giants and what team you think he should end up with. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.